Hello, my name is Lumiel, and welcome to the Bloodborne Lorethrough, where we play through Bloodborne and uncover the lore in real time, whether through dialogue, notes that are found, item descriptions, and the rare cutscenes. In this episode, we're heading finally into the Cathedral Ward after many distractions on the way there, including Old Yarnum, the abandoned workshop, and being abducted and taken to Yahar'gul, the unseen village. So this time we are heading into the Cathedral Ward, and it may take a few episodes. As I've alluded, we have been pointing in this direction for quite a while, and there seems to be quite a bit of, I'm guessing, lore here, but I do know there are several nooks and crannies in this, so we will see how it goes, but it will at least be 2 episodes because we are doing bosses in their own standalone episodes, but I would guess that it will probably be at least 2 just for the main area of the Cathedral Ward. So let's head in, and we will head out of Oedon Chapel, straight out, and this time not be abducted by the snatcher in the corner. We'll get ambushed behind us when dealing with that. And then we'll go deal with the snatcher if he's still there. And there's our... And that's what happens if he hits you with that attack. Alright, and we already picked up the Madman's knowledge from here, because this is meant to be a shocking first encounter with this character, even though we had already headed into the Thumeru Labyrinth and seen the Snatchers. So, we'll continue on. I just want to take a look at this view here. Seeing some of the surrounding area and the continually setting sun. And we'll head up these steps, leading to not the gate that we unlocked with the captain's key, but this is the gate that when we returned from the abandoned workshop that we had to come back through. And there's the church bell we've been hearing off in the distance. And we'll have another guy waiting for us up here around a bonfire that they've been waiting at. And because we weren't meaning to do this out of sequence, I did not pick up the item as we open this gate, but we open the gate from the other side, which actually would have turned you back from here. So either you would have had to buy the captain's key or head to the abandoned workshop so that you drop down from up there, drop down and open the gate from this side. We have a wooden shield, I believe is a left-handed weapon or a left-handed item. A crude wooden shield used by the masses who have arisen to join the hunt, like we've seen a few carrying in the various areas we've been in. Hunters do not normally employ shields, ineffectual against the strength of the beasts as they tend to be. Shields are nice, but not if they engender passivity. So they're providing a crude shield of sorts, but they are emphasizing that the visceral, constant barrage of attacks is more useful in this game. So it's better to just keep at it and using their rally ability to recover health, rather than hiding behind a slow-moving shield. This is an old hunter's bell area where we could summon Henriette. Haven't seen Henriette yet. I'm trying to decide whether to summon Henriette. But first, let's go up this ladder I will probably summon Henriette just for seeing who she is. And then there's a drop down there. So we pick up Numbing Mist, which is another first time we've picked up an item here. Numbing Mist. Throw to create a mist cloud that prevents HP restoration. Throw to create a mist cloud that prevents a hunter's life essence, that numbs the hunter's life essence and prevents restoration of HP. Said to be used by the blood hunters of Canehurst. Its recipe is secret, closely guarded by the line of nobles inhabiting the castle. So it's used by the blood hunters of Canehurst. So hunters from an area called Canehurst that hunt for blood. Not surprising, given what we know about everyone's obsession with blood. Secretly guarded by the line of nobles inhabiting that castle. So we know Canehurst is a castle inhabited by nobles that have blood hunters. The only other reference we've seen to Canehurst so far was on the... we don't have the weapon anymore, but the rifle spear, or the spear rifle, which said it was a crude attempt at creating a Canehurst weapon. In other words, it was a cheap knockoff of a different weapon from Canehurst. So we came from down there, through that gate, right there. And let's just see if there's anything up here on the rooftops. And I don't believe so. Except right there. Alright. Black messenger hat, so another cosmetic messenger item. A hat that the messengers are oddly fond of. The inhabitants of the symbol of the preventative hunters of the healing church. That's interesting. Preventative hunters. This is one of the first of these that we've looked at that I find any lore implication. The fact that they say the healing church had preventative hunters, and we know the hunt is to fight back the beast scourge. Preventative hunters seems to imply that they hunted things that had not yet, or people that had not turned to beasts yet, which seems cruel, seems potentially unnecessary, and seems to have lost sight of what it was all about. I could be reading too much into that, though. Let's summon Henriette. So she heard the call of the old hunter Bell, an old hunter Henriette, who carries a torch and the hammer. Not much that we can learn from her. I mean, from visually looking at her. So, let's stick to the outside here. We will follow along the right path. And there are hunters up there, an item down here. Thick cold blood. And here comes someone. She's being very helpful. I didn't need her, but not sure what her purpose is out here if she's not helping. Alright. Blood vial. There she goes. Meanwhile, we'll deal with the big guy. Okay, so he will probably have dropped blood vials. He will drop bullets. There's a path that leads up, but let's come down here. Kind of sticking close to the paths that lead back kind of towards Oedon Castle. just clearing out and kind of creating a larger circle that spreads out. So there's an item, thick cold blood. So I'm just looking at the scenery now, some of the structure. The most interesting bit of structure here I see is the clock above me, if that's what that is. Let's open this gate. This is opening a gate into that central area. We opened that gate straight across from there, and we have these patrolling giants there. Back here, you can see she's approaching a dog. And we have another item over here, thick cold blood. So before we go into this central area, let's look around here. And there's a ladder behind the dog. And we have an item here, quicksilver bullets, and another ladder. So I see a note here, and we have a view overlooking that central circle. There's a statue in the center we'll have to take a look at when we get down there, and once we've dealt with the roving giants. A watchman of Bergenworth guards the gate with a password. The sacred adage of the Grand Cathedral. So we've heard before from I'm drawing a blank on his name, but the hunter of the Healing Church, that oddly enough I can remember he was the student to Ligarius. He agreed to help us, and we fought the Bloodborne, the Bloodstar Beast together, but he mentioned that the Bergenworth school knew the only password to get into the area to find the school, which is now lost in a deep dark wood. So there's somebody guarding that gate with the password, which is the sacred adage of the Grand Cathedral. Alfred, by the way, is the name of the hunter that told us that. Alright, so now we have a ladder that leads down, which would kind of bypass this area, which has a path that comes back over this way. So I think what I'll do is go down there and check out the square, which I just realized Henriette has already done. So let me hurry up and try to help her out as she comes running back. Alright, blue elixir. I will check that out after I've dealt with them, because I don't trust that she won't get into another fight. So here's another pacing around. She missed a giant with her Molotov. Alright. I think that was it for here. So, blue mist. Blue mist is a liquid medicine that makes still bodies undetectable. Dubious liquid medicine used in strange experiments conducted by high ministers of the Healing Church. A type of anesthetic that numbs the brain. A dubious liquid from strange experiments conducted by high ministers of the church that numbs the brain. Hunters, able to retain consciousness by force of will, make use of a secondary effect of the medicine, which dilutes their presence while standing still. It makes you effectively invisible. So, here we have Madman's Knowledge. Some more Madman's Knowledge, and here is the statue I wanted to check out. I don't know what's going on with the camera there. So, we've seen lots of these statues of people reaching up. This one is a bearded guy, is the only primary difference. But it is a cool statue, and it looks aligned with that clock. I don't think we're getting any lore from that, but there is a lot of Madman's knowledge here, so a lot of knowledge of the Great Ones in this area. Okay, so we have a path off to this side, and I thought I just heard a roar coming from there. And we have the gate over here, which is open to a path, but that is the gate that we used the captain's badge to open before. Some cold blood here. And there's someone on patrol. Hey, and look, he's using that flame sprayer. It's a pretty good effect, too. Alright, so I see another guy walking around there. We see carts of coffins. More of the standard statues. And an item back in the corner. And crows. Thick cold blood. And a baby carriage here. Let's see. We didn't get his attention, so. So that is new. If we look, he's carrying this lantern, which we saw before, but now it seems to be covered by eyeballs and has this secondary effect, which, if we look closely while he's doing that, we could kind of see cosmic clouds around it. So, you may just think that this is a different type of guy than we've encountered before, but really what it is we've gained enough insight now that we see something that was there all along. But as we gain insight, which lets us be more aware of the world around us, it also puts us at danger. And she is just the best help as she stares at this grave. It would almost make you think that there was some purpose to this. There's not. She's just hanging out. So, we had gone around that edge and up there and climbed over, but we didn't drop down. We have paths leading off to the left here and off to the left here. But we came in on what you could consider the farthest right part of the Cathedral Ward, and I say we stick to the right. So, you can consider that left part of that left area too. We've got steps that lead further up, but we came in over here. I say we, I think it's just me now, as she hangs out in that central area. So, let's see if there is anything over here of note. The ladder, which we've already been up, the drop down that we already dropped down from. So let's head up and stick to the right, like I said. So that is a bit of a new enemy type. We can see that they're holding this kind of three-pronged branch looking thing that has this red mist coming off of it. Nothing off to the side there. Nothing off to the side here. So let's take a look at these guys. Let's see what happens if he hits us. So you'll see we start building up this meter, and that's called frenzy. And when it builds all the way up, let's let him hit us again. That should do it. That's what it does. Blood bursts from us, and we lose a lot of health. Well, they may just get us with it again. Actually, I think it'll wear off before it gets all the way up. Yeah. So that can be a dangerous status effect, if you want to call it that. But Frenzy, it builds up very fast and will do a lot of damage if it builds up to enough of a level that it's full. Alright, so they were guarding this walkway, and we can see that the main steps lead up to this area with a huge gate, which we know what that typically means. A boss, but we're not done. There's paths to the left and the right, and there's all those paths down there. So we will return here later. And we're sticking to the right. And we've actually seen this area before. We saw this open, circular kind of courtyard when we were looking from the tower, the top of the tower, where the abandoned workshop is, which is probably behind that rock structure over there. Nothing back this way. But we do have a rooftop here and steps leading down. Let's work on this first. Crows. Always annoying. Probably have to get to that later, but we see an item over there. This could very well be for just giving us a view of stuff. For example, right there we can see a hunter. And I hear bolts there. Right beneath us, a hunter using a tonitrus that Archibald created. So, at least one of those guys is going to try to ambush us, but here is the circular courtyard that I said we saw before, and there he is with his tonitrus. Let's go ahead and get our gun out. We were too slow on it though. Now, that got him most of the way, so let's just keep on him. And we didn't even give his buddy over there a chance to join in. I will go ahead and pick up these items. I would wait, but you never know. They would still be here, but I don't want to die. And it was just bolt paper anyways, apparently. So. And he's going to be one of these guys, huh? Well, I have probably the same gun he has. Another thing you can do is when somebody fires like that, dodge into them. I didn't do it soon enough there, but... And that actually took care of him. And he dropped quicksilver bullets. And we have a well. And another house with incense burning around it. Back here. A couple maybe. And then a path down there. So let's check out these houses.
Bless us with blood.
Sounds a little different than the partiers in Old Yarnum that we often heard. People seemingly having a grand old time going mad. Shut indoors while the hunt rages outside. So, I'm honestly just trying to remember how that item can be retrieved. I'm guessing there's a drop down from the rocks up there.
Bless us with blood. Bless us with blood.
It's almost a more desperate sound.
Bless us with blood. Bless us with blood.
And that is probably meaningless, but I find that pretty interesting that there's specifically a part of this tree that's been stripped away. And we have another snatcher here. I was getting cocky. I didn't even bother looking at my health while I was just swinging away at him. That was my own bad. So we will rush over there. Again, showing how you can run past enemies even in a new area you've been to. So we don't need to worry about that guy ambushing behind us, or the one coming down the steps, or the one to his left. We don't need to try to get her help. We don't want to go up those stairs though, because there were like 3 guys blocking the path. We do, however, want to come up behind these guys. And there will be a giant in the way, but just keep running. Make sure you have enough stamina to keep running though. Roll when you need to. And watch out for the guys who will give you frenzy. And we don't need to worry about the hunters coming back, because hunters are unique. So once they've died, they do not come back. And there is how you get that item I was looking for. So, frenzied cold blood. And we can hear the muttering of bless us with blood. It's not that they're any more difficult, you just have to be mindful, which I was not being. Okay, so you don't want to drop down. You could drop down from here. Let's go ahead and do it. Can't resist the shiny object. Twin bloodstone shards. And so you can see that is one of those giant executioners like we've seen in Central Yarnum. And we can see right below us a couple people with guns. Oh well, we just have to keep moving so that we don't get shot. Because there's no means to get back up there and deal with him. And we have the executioner coming towards us, but I don't think he sees us yet. So I'm going to go two-handed here. So I did a lot of damage because I've leveled up a lot and this weapon is leveled up a lot. But what you'll want to try to do is shoot them at the right time, because that is the best means for fighting these guys. Okay, so we've got the main path here. And another executioner. Oh, I want this though. So I need to heal. And there was another of those scrambling creatures that I missed. Alright. He took so long that it distracted me. There. Alright, he's dealt with. And so, with those scrambling creatures, even if they get away, you can always come back and come back another time and try to get them. Alright. So now we are entering. That guy is firing at us to the extent where we can't really take our time to look, so let's look from here. As most buildings do, it looks like a large church. And they always have an open door here. Lead elixir. Which I believe is new to us, so let's take a look. A heavy syrupy liquid medicine temporarily shifts weight to make deflection of attacks easier, but must be used with care as it also slows movement with no change to defense. Its recipe for this mysterious concoction is unknown, but some postulate that it materializes only within the most desperate nightmares. Not a lot to really take from that. It's basically a liquid that will cause you to think of yourself as being set and sure-footed. So even if you get attacked, you don't really get knocked back or stunned. But like it said, it doesn't really make you any stronger. It just keeps you from being knocked around. So typically, I would say big open area, watch out for a boss fight. But that's not what this is. Huge ornamental church with a great open area and a clearly lit pedestal in the center, or a bowl of some sort. So let's just find out what happens if we step on it. Interesting. Nothing. What happens? It looks to be, are those doors? Straight back from here. There's that cosmic look around us. And this is just like outside Oedon Chapel, except we had a clearer view then. We can see the thing grabbing hold of us. And we can see it up there right now. It looks like the statue that we saw overlooking the lantern in Yaragul, the Unseen Village. Lots of tentacles. Also similar to the creature we found at the base of the abandoned workshop tower in what looked to be like a very old, forgotten part of Yarnum. But we saw a cloaked figure with a tentacled face, although he was small. Lots of arms. And as this creature grabbed us, we could see the cosmos essentially forming around us. So, let's heal. Nothing we can do at this point. Except gawk. It's got a tail back there. At least 6 arms. Alright, so one issue with us just taking on the area we were heading to and running past everyone else is now we're returning to the area that we ran past. He is persistent. So now we ran back up here. Remember, we went up here to the left, fought the snatcher, and dropped down. Here are the people begging for blood. But, yeah, it's this a lone church off in the distance with the open doors and the, let's go ahead and call him a great one inside. We've heard about the great ones, and he certainly doesn't look like anything we've seen so far. So now we have the areas that if we're facing the Cathedral Ward, we're off to the left. We do have that. We have that main kind of entrance there. There is an area off to the far left back here. But you can consider that essentially a separate area, and we will cover that after we fight the boss here. We are getting trapped in here, so I'm just going to go ahead and try to lure them back. I'm trying to let my frenzy wear off. There. Okay. But we want to go back to that main courtyard with the 2 giants so we can run past these ones again and just see how many people follow us into that courtyard. There's a gunner up there. A couple guys patrolling down here. There's that ladder behind the dog. The patrolling giants. But let's go all the way up out of here and through this gate. And that first left, if we came through this gate that was unlocked using the captain's badge. So we have this guy with the flamethrower again. We have this other guy who is patrolling and using the lantern with the eyeballs on it. And let's just keep continuing down here. Poison knife. The lore behind that is that it's a poison knife. There was a little bit of lore because I forget. It was a favorite of somebody, I think. Nope, I think I'm confusing it with, yeah, Henrik's favorite weapon, this throwing knife. So we've got more windows with incense.
Oh my, what a queer scent. I'd take it over the stench of blood and beasts any day. What is it then? I'm off during hunts, and besides, this is no place for ladies. Wouldn't want to drag you down too.
It's reassuring that she doesn't think we have the scent of beasts.
Oh, thank goodness. You're a hunter, aren't you, dear? Might you know of a safe place? The night is long and there's very little of the incense left.
So she's running out of incense and doesn't see an end in sight.
Some nice place to run off to.
We know of Oedon Chapel, so we can choose to tell her about it or withhold it. I see no reason not to tell her.
Dear, perhaps I'll see you there. Oh, thank you, Dick. Perhaps I'll see you there.
Alright. Now let's go talk to this window.
You! You're not from around here, are you? Well, an outsider who's come to join the hunt? What a pathetic idea. You what? What, you think I'm a beast? Well, maybe I think you're a beast. And step away from my castle. Oh, enough of you. What, you think this is funny? Well, I certainly don't, so be gone with you. I'll have nothing to do with your beast stunts. What's this two-bit nonsense you're peddling? I heard you told that wench about some shelter. Well, she's a damn fool to trust an outsider. Why? Well, her sort's probably just fixing to feed some of your coin.
Nice guy.
All right. What crafty lies does the outsider have today? You think I'm an easy mark? Yeah? Well, give me your best shot. What, afraid your lies will be exposed? Yeah, I knew you'd back off. I just knew it. Yeah, an outsider you may be, but at least you know when you're bested.
Can't tell if he's gone mad or he's just a jerk.
Go on then, fine. Go on, tell me. What, afraid your lies will be exposed? Yeah, I knew. Yeah.
Okay. We have a path that leads through here, past some of these guys. Let's go ahead and deal with them. Black church hat and gloves. Reminds me of what the messenger hat we just got was. Yeah, I was gonna say, and we saw somebody shooting at us from up ahead. A few more incense doors, one behind us too. Okay, that's the path we came down.
We've the deepest gratitude for the church and all they do for us. Deepest, widest gratitude. Yes. Yes. Deep.
And is the slamming sound coming from here?
Praise you. Praise the old damn church. And then best of luck hunting. Best luck of all. Praise you. And then
All right. So there's a spot up above with people with guns and other sorts. So I'm going to backtrack because I find it best to approach them from the other path that was leading left, from the Great Circle or the great courtyard here. So if we go past these guys, here is this other door, and that guy might look familiar. We saw one of his sort down below underneath the tower that led to the abandoned workshop. There are, if he gets a hold of you, he will essentially suck insight out of your brain. So I do not like those creatures. I like them lore-wise, design-wise. I guess I do like them. I just don't like them as far as losing my insight. Tempering blood gemstone. Antidote. And a path leading down. And down to this door under the Cathedral Ward.
The password.
Like everyone, he sounds crazy. And I know no password, so my only option is keep quiet. So let's head back up. Okay, so this puts us, there's a drop down, and down below are where the gunmen were that were shooting at us, down that path. So we have, there's one gunman. There was a ladder from the rooftops that we didn't take down, but it was from that tower, essentially. So let's just go level by level. They haven't noticed us yet, but there's a bunch in there, including a large beast. Which are so powerful. So I'll climb up just to show where I said we were. This is where there was a dog down below, and we took a ladder up, and then another ladder right here. And I came to this point. There was a note right over here about the watchman at Bergenworth who's asking for the password, which we've seen that note, or that door, so now we know that leads to Bergenworth. Which Bergenworth, we know, is an important place. It's the college that discovered the underground labyrinth, where they found the holy medium that has led to the healing church and the blood obsession that everyone has. It's led to all of this. Okay, I couldn't just crush those. And so we need a password so that we can proceed through that doorway. But in the meantime, we've been through all of this area. We've been along the rooftops. We've been all along that right-hand side and been grabbed by the giant great one. we've been through the main courtyard, and on the other side of the main courtyard, we've been up to a large church that seems to be the place where we will have a boss fight. So let's just run past these guys, and I will run up to the top and just see who, if any, follows me up. We have the frenzy guys that would be up here, but they followed me off to the left. And that will leave us at this gate, which, check out these statues. The tentacles and the divots in the head very much resemble that great one that grabbed us off to that side. So this is where I'll leave it, and in the next episode we'll take on the boss in this area. We still need the password to get to Bergenorth, and we still have an area off to this side that I said we would address after we take on this boss. So thank you for tuning in and exploring the Cathedral Ward with me. We will be back through here other times, surely, but this is the main layout and the main structure of everything. And they told us if we wanted to know about blood, and especially pale blood, and any unique properties of blood, we needed to seek the great priests in the Cathedral Ward, and they mentioned the Grand Cathedral. So that's all been leading here, and we'll find out what's on the other side in the next episode. So thank you, and see you next time.